Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you all know, everyone in the NBA knows to say James Harden is now a Brooklyn Net. And we discussed that video yesterday. But yesterday we were talking about, the trade. And today we're going to talk about how this will work. Does James Harden join the Brooklyn Nets? Make them title favourites? I thought they get out of the East anyway without James Harden. But does James Harden bring them to the next level? Was it worth bringing James Harden in, losing some of that depth, So we'll discuss that in that video. We'll also discuss how James Harden, KD and Kyrie are going to work, because not all big threes work. Most of them do, but not all do. Not all do work. So straight away, how will James Harden fit into this new system? First of all, in Houston, he was the main man in Houston for the whole, however long, 6 years. He was the main guy in the offense. They ran offense to suit him. James Harden was going ISO most people, one on one, taking people on. But in Brooklyn, it's a different offensive system that Brooklyn Nets are running. That how will James Harden get enough, isolation ball? Will James Harden get enough offense that suits him? Because he's also got KD, who's the main man there. He's a better scorer. KD's a level above James Harden. Harden's an all-star level, is an MVP caliber player, but KD's just a level above that. And so KD, he'll be taking most of the main shots. So the offense will pretty much run through KD. And we also have Kyrie, his situation, if he comes back. Kyrie will take a lot of shots as well, Kyrie. So how will James Harden fit into this? This could cause problems, Will Harden be happy in this offense? Obviously Harden, at his best, he's an unbelievable player. We all know that. An unbelievable scorer. But will the Nets give James Harden enough chances to show how good of a scorer he is? You got Kevin Durant, you got Kyrie Irving. Will James Harden get enough chances to play his best basketball, or will we be forced to take a back seat on this? I was watching a video, I forget who, there's only James Harden videos I watched yesterday after my one, and someone said, could James Harden, worst case scenario, you could end up like Carmelo Anthony did with the OKC, Paul George, Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. And Carmelo Anthony and James Harden are both elite scorers. Melo, it didn't work out for him in OKC. He took a back seat to PG and Westbrook. So will Harden have to give up, a backseat to KD and Kyrie? I don't really think so, because I think KD prefers Harden. They played together in OKC, and I think KD already is getting sick of Kyrie. What he's doing. Kyrie just dipped for. He's missing persons on the missing persons list. We haven't seen Kyrie in nearly a week now to say he's been hiding from Brooklyn. So against that later on though. But the question is, let's say Kyrie stays. How will James Harden and Kyrie fit? Because we all know they're both big personalities. They're both fiery personalities. Kyrie's a very strange person, I must admit. Kyrie never seems to be happy. And, both like to handle the ball a lot and take shots. How's it going to work? What will the chemistry be like? That's my question here with Harden and Kyrie. Because, these two, I don't know, man. I can see, there's two sides of it. You can definitely see this not working out with Kyrie and James Harden. Might be one or the other. Who's going to bring the ball off the court? KD seems to be happy enough. He'll take the shots, the clutch shots. But who's going to bring them off the court? Kyrie, or James Harden? Because both of them are used to running their own offense, running their own teams. And Kyrie and KD haven't been working out the best so far this season either. Kyrie just dipped for some reason. As I said, they ain't working well together so far. And adding James Harden to that mix with his personality, I don't know how that's going to work at all. This could all blow up in flames for Brooklyn if things go wrong. And with Kyrie, while we're on Kyrie, Kyrie, he wasn't happy being the number 2 guy in Cleveland with LeBron. He wanted out of Cleveland. Playing with LeBron wasn't for him, being in his shadow. Not for him. Then went to Boston, obviously. Main guy there, always injured, wasn't happy. They weren't good enough or something. I don't know what his problem in Boston was, but he wanted out. He wanted to play another superstar. And joined up with Kevin Durant. Obviously KD was injured his first season. This season they played about 5 games together. So they started off well, then they had problems, both missing last minute shots, game winning shots. And as I made a video, there's problems in Brooklyn. I made that video, we'll leave that in the end screen. But these two, I don't see, they're not working out so far. Not working out as good as we thought they would be so far. Obviously they still need to get used to each other, but Kyrie to come back to Brooklyn first. He's off somewhere, wherever he's from. He's off over there partying with his sister, but we haven't seen him in ages. And obviously, as soon as Harden, people are rumoured. I saw Woj talking about, could Kyrie, want out of Brooklyn. I wouldn't. I think we'll definitely see this big three play together for a few games at least, and then if Kyrie gets in another one of those moods, he might want out. But I'm sure we'll see that three play together. But Kyrie, you just never know. KD and Harden for sure. They played OKC together. As I said, they're talking about yesterday, Woj and Shams. Harden is to appease KD, try and get him to sign a new long-term deal. And I can see that. But how is Kyrie going to affect this mix? And not just that, were the Brooklyn Nets right to give up a lot of their depth? Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Prince left, and also Spencer Dinwiddie's injured for the whole season. So that's a lot of their unbelievable bench gone. LeVert, very good scorer, and Jared Allen, a more than capable backup center, and they lost both of them. And also Dinwiddie injured for the season. Could this cost them the championship? Like KD, Kyrie, Harden, DeAndre Jordan, they're not the best defenders. DeAndre Jordan's not as good as he used to be on the defensive end. And how will where's the defense in this team right now? You also got Joe Harris, but where's the defense in this team? Harden, he's not as bad as the defender people say he is, but he's not he's not an elite defender. KD, same story, and Kyrie as well. So I just don't see where the defense in this team is. And then you take away their bench, a good chunk of their bench, a lot of firepower off their bench. I think they could struggle. They could really struggle, this Brooklyn Nets team, if the chemistry isn't right. And as I said, chemistry is going to play a massive part in this as well. How will the rest of the role players deal with this? They get even less touches now with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. And I'm just interested to see how James Harden and Kyrie are going to fit in, to be honest. That's what I'm interested in seeing. And a lot of eyes around James Harden as well. He forced this move out of Houston. Eyes around him now. He came back overweight. He started the season very poorly. Eyes on him. He's on a championship team in the weaker Eastern Conference. No excuses, he's got to get this ring. Now, does this trade make the Brooklyn Nets title favourites ahead of the Lakers? For me, no, because for many reasons. Yeah, they got 3 stars. Lakers have 2. You look at that a simplistic view, 3v2. Nets are better, eh? Obviously, the Lakers won it last year. They got LeBron James, who's still the best player in the league by a good bit, in my opinion, at 36 years old. And you got Anthony Davis, 28, in his prime. The two of them, and LeBron isn't slowing down. He's looking unbelievable at the moment. At the moment, you can make a case for him to be MVP. Obviously, we're only 10 games in, but still. So the two of them, they're not just any 2 superstars. They're 2 of the top 3 MVP candidates. In any season, you could argue, unbelievable talents. Then you've got people like Dennis Schroeder. You got an unbelievable KCP, and then you've got a good bench. You got people like Montrezl Harrell, Taylor Horton-Tucker. You obviously got Caruso. You got Wesley Matthews. The Lakers have got a very good bench, and they've got I think now they've more depth than the Nets have now. I think the Lakers have better depth. I think LeBron and AD. I don't think you can name a better duo than that. As I said, Kyrie, I don't think it's going to work with the 3 of them, but we'll have to wait and see, obviously. And this Lakers team's been together for 2 years now. The chemistry in the Lakers, we all know, it's top notch. Everyone gets on great. So I think the Lakers are still the favourites. They won it last year, so you can't just go to disrespect the Lakers straight away and say Nets are their favourites now. Because what they do is bring in James Harden, who's much better. Karis LeVert. I still think the Lakers are going to win this championship, and Lakers fans, I've been seeing it all over social media. LeBron blew up the Rockets, forcing Westbrook and Harden out of Houston, and also it's going to take Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant to beat a 36-year-old LeBron James in his 18th season, which I don't agree with, because I don't think they are going to. I still think the Lakers are going to win the championship this year, going back to back. Next year, this season after this one, maybe a different story, but by then, will Kyrie? I still think Kyrie could. Kyrie is the weak link in this spot. Not even because he's not the best player out of the 3, in my opinion. It's because his attitude and the chemistry. I think Kyrie by himself could load us up. And then if you get rid of Kyrie, then it's just KD and James Harden. So I think AD and LeBron are better than them too. But anyway, guys, that's just a video going over are the Brooklyn Nets the favourites for this, and who won this trade. Obviously for Houston, I think they did very well in this trade. They got loads of picks for the future. They got Victor Oladipo, who's still averaging over 20 points per game and still recovering from that injury. And pairing Oladipo with DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall, and Christian Wood. Houston Rockets are going to be competitive this year. Maybe they won't make the playoffs, but they're still going to be competitive. And you know, we got plenty of picks for the future, and they got rid of James Harden's salary cap. So Houston Rockets fans, maybe a year or two of pain, but the rest, you know, you could be very good in the future. And it's the opposite Brooklyn Nets, a year or two of, you know, unbelievable basketball, but you know, your future, once again, you've thrown it away like you did with KG and Paul Pierce back in the day. But anyway guys, that's the video. Make sure to like the video. Check out the old Brooklyn Nets video I made, you know, about KD and Kyrie. We'll leave a link for that in the description. And yeah, that's the video guys. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications. And with all that said guys, I'm out of here.